when it comes to playing World of Warcraft progressionally and unique hidden things inside the game and stuff like that. And I'll make a video going over like a large amount of them later, such as like various ways to improve your critical strikes or critical strike damage and stuff like that, and like various questions that are left kind of unanswered or people have questions about, and it's very difficult to keep up on unless you've read like every single patch note. But here I'm going to be going over the difference between main hands and offhands. This is why my character is naked and it has a VOA weapon on, and pretty much which one's better to use. So typically you just want to go with whatever one's the highest item level, obviously, and like which one has like the better stats for you and stuff like that. But a lot of people have had like questions, including myself, so I had to test this because I was just like so frustrated. Because they're back in Warlords of Draenor, I think it was like in 2012 or something like that, they made it so weapon damage factors into your ability power, not just for melee characters but for casters as well. So your heals and your spells weren't just based off of your intellect and your stats, your secondary stats, but it was also factored in by weapon damage. And over the course of the expansions in the years, they've changed that, but they've never really given an exact like methodology for how they've done it. People have been trying to figure it out. A lot of people say, oh, weapon damage doesn't matter anymore, like main hand, offhand, just grab whatever's best. And like I pretty much made this video I'm making this video to pretty much give an exact approximate of what the difference is between using a two-handed weapon versus using a main hand and offhand. So let's go ahead and get into that. One thing that you'll notice is that if you play Diablo 3, you'll notice that main hands and offhands in Diablo 3 both have weapon damage on it. Where this one, like for example, this main hand has 17 to 22 damage. And the offhand has, in World of Warcraft, no damage on it. And it doesn't necessarily have more secondary stats combined either per an item level. So you're probably sitting there thinking to yourself, well, if the offhand has no weapon damage on it, then like wouldn't the staff with the combined weapon damage of both slots, as if you're using two weapon damage, being a two-hander, have more because it's 30 to 42, 10 DPS, 10 damage per second if you see there, versus 7.5 damage per second because it's 17 to 22 and no value of weapon damage from the offhand. Then you're right. There's like a slight amount. The thing is that if the secondary stats are better on the offhand for you, like in the main hand offhand combo over the staff, it would be better. However, if the staff has stats that are good for you, then you should like take the staff instead, especially if they're the same item level. So the reasoning behind that is if I get naked, even more so than my character is now, I'm doing this so you can see like how it is with exact scaling. You can see that my Cenarian Ward heals for 948 over 8 seconds. And if you put on a staff, it will heal for 1,357 over 8 seconds. Then if I take this off and I put on a one hand and a main hand, it will heal for 1,349 over 8 seconds. So I took these damage values, I saved them, I pretty much paid 948 base, 1,357 for the staff, and then 1,349 for main hand and offhand. I grabbed a calculator. You can check my math, do it yourself. I pretty much equaled 948 equals 100%. And then I ran the comparisons for an X value on what percentage that would be for the staff damage, or the staff of a scale of what Cenarian Ward would heal for, and the main hand and offhand scale of what Cenarian Ward would heal for. And pretty much it equaled to 143% and 142% approximately. There's like some long decimals in there of what the base value would be as if you were wearing no weapon. So if you were to subtract those two, you get approximately a 1% difference. So with the stats, like again, if you look at the secondary stats, it's only intellect, haste on these. There's no versatility or crit or anything of that sort. The same goes for this main hand and offhand combo I was using. Well, I mean, like, that's the main hand, offhand haste, and the same thing goes for the staff, where it's it's just haste on there. So that really wouldn't factor into the strength of snaring ward, and like the combined haste value could, but like add an extra tick or so. But that wouldn't, because it's 36 haste and 18 from the main hand plus 18 from the offhand is 36. So I mean, like, it's identical haste between the two. It's, I think, identical intellect between the two. Yeah, it looks like it. The only difference is the weapon damage, and that's where that 1% value is coming from, is the extra 2.5 weapon damage on the staff. So I would assume, because again, this is like 90 BOA, I just wanted to test it with weapons that were the same item level. But you can pretty much assume the same regardless if it was a 116 BOA weapon versus a 380 Mythic Titan Forge weapon or whatever. Is that the end result will be the same between a main hand and an offhand of identical item level. That's a 1% value. Now, like, it's up to you to determine whether the secondary sets you want to go for might exceed that 1% on a main hand offhand. Probably more than often it can, especially if it's better stat priority for your character than using a staff. But I just wanted to knock that out of the way because it was driving me crazy. I'm sure it's driving other people crazy. Like, how much does the weapon damage factor in if the stats are identical? Is it worth going for it or not? So it's a 1% damage increase. 143 minus 142%, 1% difference. So yeah, that's about it. I'll probably make more videos later talking about other stuff like that in regards to World of Warcraft.